Well, then we'll be back to a tit-for-tat, which is how we began, and it will end in a very positive conversation between Donald Trump and Ursula von der Leyen, which is what happened last time.
But let me be clear. Greenland belongs to its people. No threat or tariffs will change that. Sovereignty is not for trade. The European Union stands without doubt with Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark in defense of their territorial integrity and sovereignty.
So I'll try to start on this side, which is when we launched our tariff regime on April 2nd, the world was aflutter with all of these kind of comments. But since then, if you check at the end of 2025, you will see all of the key indicators are up. The UK stock market's up, Europe's stock market is up, Japan is up, Korea is up. They are all up because, as it turns out, there is much more stability in a strong America and a natural and long-term relationship between two countries. I think with respect to the tariff policy, the president uses tariff policy to make sure people are talking and paying attention and not just acting. You have seen him use tariff policy again and again to have outcomes that are reasonable and appropriate. So the fact that he doesn't want things to be done without discussion and without consideration is a way for him to say, hey, you need to talk to us. If you're our great ally, you need to talk to us. Do I think the trade deals that we've set with Europe, with the UK, are they durable? I absolutely do. I do not see a model where Europe would decide, I want to blow up the tariff I have on automobiles or on pharmaceuticals or on semiconductors. I'd like to just go back to the way it was in April. I just don't see that happening. What I see happening is diplomacy and talking and at the table rather than action, which is something I think the president cares about and is important to the president. And I said, I will leave that to my national security people. But the president is clear-minded and clear of thought. He feels, and he's talked about this for 30 years, he has felt that the industrial policy of the United States allowed it to be hollowed out, and that would be true of Britain, and that would be true of Europe, that all of this has moved to Asia, right, where they make everything and we just buy it. And that has got to end. We need to produce things in America. We need to produce things, and we encourage the UK to do the same, right? And you agree. It's not as if we disagree. So that's the history, and Sovereignty for America says we need to have our own steel. We need to have aluminum. We can have it with great allies, but we cannot have it where we rely on other people that maybe, like we've seen in critical minerals, and make no mistake about it, the critical mineral issue was with us a year ago. Everybody was sleeping through it. Donald Trump ripped the Band-Aid off, and the whole world said, oh my God. And that is the intuition and power of Donald Trump's presidency, is that he's teaching the world what is wrong, and now the world is working together with respect to critical minerals to fix it, right? But there are all sorts of things that need to be fixed, one of which is a modification of industrial policy, that the United States of America should be a place where you build things, and I would encourage the UK to do the same. Yeah. Granted, it can't be everything to everyone, but there are a lot of things. Same for Canada, same for all our allies.
And what happens if Europe retaliates with tariffs of its own, Mr. Lapid?
Well, then we'll be back to a tit-for-tat, which is how we began, and it will end in a very positive conversation between Donald Trump and Ursula von der Leyen, which is what happened last time. So you can start with a kerfluffle, but in the end, right, the United States and Europe are great allies. The United States and the UK are great allies. These are our great allies, right? We are great allies with Canada. We are great allies. It doesn't mean you don't have an argument. Yep. It doesn't mean you don't disagree. Yep. But it doesn't change the fundamentals of the United States knows who our allies are. And if we're going to have a kerfluffle, so be it. but we know where it's going to end. It's going to end in a reasonable manner that, in our view, prior to Donald Trump taking the helm of the United States of America, the world was taking the piss out of us, right? And we were exporting the power of our economy to the rest of the world. In 1 year of change, I've just said my expectation is GDP of the United States of America is over 5% in the first quarter of 2026. That's just my opinion. But so far, in the first quarter, if you saw what I said I thought the United States would grow 4%, and the whole world said, you got to be kidding me. 4.3% in the third quarter. You're going to see plus 5% from the United States of America, the $30 trillion economy, winning. And that's good for the world. Clearly, I'd like the UK, who was our great friend and ally, to be aligned with us. Right? That's clear. With respect to interest rates in America, there's been a classic policy that when the U.S. economy does well, raise rates and put brakes on it. When the U.S. economy is doing poorly, cut rates and add gas to it. But basically define mediocrity one way or the other. And President Trump thinks quite differently. We are the best credit in the world. Why are we paying a higher rate than all the other credits of the world? It makes no sense. Our rates are too high. It's just binary. Our rates should be much lower so that our economy can finally flourish. I think we're going to grow more than 5% GDP this quarter, and that's for the $30 trillion U.S. economy. And if rates were lower, you would see us hit 6%. What is holding us back is ourselves, okay? We are going to align our economy and our industrial policy with growth and success, and we hope to export that. I hope the UK follows our energy policy, follows our digital policy, so that our great tech companies can invest in the UK, can invest in Canada, can invest in Europe. But they can't if they have the Digital Services Act, the Digital Services Act, the Digital Markets Act, the digital this, the digital that. Europe has taxed our companies with fines and regulatory attacks more than they've earned in taxes on their own technology companies. Instead of saying, come and build and grow and build data centers here, they tax the heck out of them with fines and regulations that harm them. It's illogical. There's a reason the United States has $18 trillion of economic power coming in. You just watch. I couldn't say 5%, and I couldn't say, I think 6% if we cut interest rates is in the cards, unless that $18 trillion comes to America to build. And let me give you a hint. It's coming, and it's coming fast.
But let me be clear. Greenland belongs to its people. No threat or tariffs will change that. Sovereignty is not for trade. The European Union stands without doubt with Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark in defense of their territorial integrity and sovereignty. Saturday's remarks by President Trump create a situation we haven't experienced before. Our response must be to remain calm, hold our ground, and act in unity. The EU is a close and reliable partner to Greenland. Our cooperation is delivering real results, especially in education, skills, and sustainable development.